Our Lord Jesus before Pilate's soldiers. He endured unspeakable torment. He was whipped while wearing a crown of thorns. Then they used a reed as a scepter. They struck Christ on the head. They made him wear the crown of thorns. By this time, the Lord's body had already begun to bleed. At this moment, the Lord Jesus was brought before Pilate. At that point, Pilate himself came forward to deal further with the case. Pilate, this is the second interrogation. After the first questioning, he sent him to King Herod. This time, King Herod sent him back. Thus, after the Lord had been whipped, he was interrogated once more. Let's take a look. Pilate emerged again from the governor's palace, and walked outside, and said to the Jews, "Look, I have brought him out so that you may see that I find no fault in him." Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns, donning a purple cloak, the kind of attire a king would wear, because Pilate had decided to whip the Lord Christ. And then, after mocking him, to release him. That was Pilate's plan. Firstly, the Lord Christ would be brought to Pilate's palace, after returning from King Herod, to endure a full whipping, suffering numerous injuries at the hands of Pilate. Pilate thought that, having sustained all these wounds, Jesus could be released, to appease the Jews, so that they might not continue to press him. At least, that's what he believed. However, Jesus endured excessive flogging, was not set free. Instead, the Jews resolutely decided to have Jesus was crucified. Let's take a look. Originally, Jesus was not meant to be whipped. But after Pilate had planned to whip the Lord Jesus, and then release him, the Jews disagreed. Now, consider that when Jesus came out, he was wearing a crown of thorns and a purple cloak. Pilate said to them, "Look at this man." Temple police of the chief priests and Pharisees. Upon seeing Jesus, they cried out, "Have him nailed to the cross! Have him nailed to the cross!" It was something that even others might hear. Really, how could that be? To simply sentence him in this manner. He had already endured enough whipping, which was severe enough. He could have been set free. He had committed no crime worthy of death. Then Pilate said to them, "Crucify him yourselves. I see no fault in him. Don't think otherwise. For Jesus has already been whipped. I had planned to whip him and release him, and then crucify him. But that would be unjust." It seems that was what Pilate thought. Then the Jewish leaders declared, "We have our own law. According to our law, he deserves death, because he claimed to be the Son of God." Thus, everyone heard that Jesus is the Son of God. Even though his soldiers had whipped the Lord Jesus severely, he should have been released. Because his soldiers had whipped him. Upon hearing this, Pilate became even more afraid. He said, "If Jesus is the Son of God, then my soldiers have made me guilty." Pilate was frightened. At this moment, he asked Jesus, "Your words now sound much more humble. Not at all like those of a high-ranking official. No longer a way for high officials to ask the Lord, but in humility. Where exactly did you come from?" Jesus didn't say a word. Pilate said, "Aren't you going to tell me? Won't you speak to me? Do you not know that I have the authority to release you, and the authority to crucify you?" Jesus answered him, "You would have no power over me, if it were not given to you from above. Therefore, the one who handed me over to you is even greater." From that time on, because Pilate had also let his soldiers whip the Lord. After mocking the Lord, what then? He decided he really wanted to release Jesus. But helplessly, the Jews said, "If you release this man, then you are no friend of Caesar. For anyone who makes themselves king opposes Caesar." That's what the Jews said. As a high official, Pilate naturally became afraid. He feared. Because Caesar is Caesar, the emperor. Pilate was a governor, but the emperor was greater than him. So Pilate knew he was in a helpless situation, not knowing what to do at this time. After hearing those words again, Pilate took Jesus to a place called the Stone Pavement. In Hebrew, the place is called Gabbatha. Pilate sat there, on the judgment seat, interrogating Jesus. By then, he had decided to sentence Jesus to death. We will continue with the next part of this trial. Stay tuned.